Hey. Good evening, everybody. Tonight we having a conversation about fatherhood, about young men growing up without a father in the home. Uh, we decided to have this conversation based off a text that one of the panelists sent me, who we grew up together. And in our illustrious panel tonight, we got Cameron and we got Coach Cam, as everybody know him, and we got Brad. And we had two more members that was invited. If they come, they come. If they don't, they don't. But the invitation was definitely extended to them. Uh, we want to address some fatherhood issues about the effects that not having a father there teaching you how to be a man. How does it affect the child or the male growing up? Cam, what was your question, Cam, that you stated behind the scenes that we were talking about?
Well, I basically um, wanted to talk about something that I think is very important. Like, for instance, my circle, okay, my personal friends. Um, we never talk about serious situations. It's so easy for us to talk about sports. It's so easy for us to talk about girls, but we don't talk about fatherhood, and that's because we wasn't shown how to be real fathers. We had to kind of navigate that ourselves. And for me, knowing you for 37 years, I don't even know who your father is. I don't even know your father's name. You don't know my father's name. You don't know nothing about my father, and that's weird to me. And I don't know anything about Brad's father. I don't know anything about Sean's father. And for me, that's kind of crazy because we built up these walls not to be emotional, and that's because we was taught um, not to be soft. We was taught not to complain. Um, you know, don't be bitching and all of that. But as I look at my sons and I try to talk to them and they don't talk to me, and I see they get emotional, I encourage that because I want you to be a better man than me. But the only way that I can do that is if I teach them how to be emotional, because that's so vital to dealing with a woman. Because for me, fatherhood was work hard, work as many jobs as you could work, provide, do the right thing, treat her with respect, and that was fatherhood. But it's so much more to fatherhood. So much more to fatherhood. So we wasn't taught how to be emotional. So until you could teach your son how to be emotional with a woman, he's gonna have some problems growing up, like we all have. We have problems with women. You understand what I'm saying to you? That's because we wasn't emotional. Women need that, and we wasn't taught that. Do you
Let
understand
me
what I'm saying?
let me try to give it. Maybe I'm looking at it from the root. Maybe the root of the issue is that we were all raised in single parent homes by women who had no choice in the matter but to try to raise men. And maybe the women in teaching us to be like manning up, like you said, being strong, like not being emotional, like this is what you could do as a man. Maybe this is what stirred us to have this type of attitude. Because if you look at all three of our mothers, who all three of us know, like they ain't really have no choices in the matter. They had boys to raise. At the end of the
Yeah,
day, like they even sacrificed their success in life or failures in life to do what they had to do for their family and their kids. So I'm not saying that you're wrong, because you are definitely right, because we are the effects of single parent homes like many others. And I think that when you look at our whole circle, this is probably why we're all so close. Because out of all the guys, we only have one friend that had a father around, and his mother died when he was young. So
absolutely.
maybe this, as most people would say, dysfunction is what brought all of us close together. Brad, what's your take on it?
Well, first, let's do this. Let's give it up to the mothers that raised us, because we wouldn't be where we are. And knowing your two mothers the way I know them and the way they looked at each one of them looked at me as an extended son. Um, let's first give it up to them. And I did get to hear, growing up as close as I did to Marlon, and knowing what Marlon and Cameron are to one another. I have heard about 3 or 4 conversations about Cameron's dad, and I know Cameron looks just like his dad. But I know that his dad wasn't there much, if at all. Um, I think for me, it the women definitely led to our emotions because they had to put their foot on us. And I think because they always pounded on us, I think then in turn, and us three being 3 of the most explosive people in our community when dealing with conflict, y'all have grown up quicker than I have. Um, but when we were all young, we all 3 of us dealt with conflict one and the same. We went to a certain point, the verbal went to verbal, and the three of us didn't take time to get to the hands at all. So I think that did come from how our mothers stayed with our foot on our neck. We knew that we dealt with little tolerance, and I started off then raising my kids that way. So when Cameron touched on the emotional, I definitely thought as long as I had money for the kids, in fact I wanted my emotion to stay out of it because I knew I was too explosive. I didn't want my kids to be the way I was.
Well, let me ask Cam. Do you how my son is 23 and be 24 in a couple weeks. How is it with dealing with? See, my son is more like us, sort of say. He'd be like, "Dad, I understand. You know, you got a little girlfriend or whatever." How is it with your son? Your son like 15, right, Cam?
Yeah, he's 15. I mean, my son is a little different. He's more like he has a personality like Marlon. And um, what I say is, that's because the way he was raised. You know what I mean? Like I kind of sheltered him, basically. Like he's been in Catholic school, he's been in private school his whole life. You understand what I'm saying to you? So he doesn't. He's he don't have the street smarts like I have. You understand what I'm saying to you? And that's something that I need him to understand. Like at this point, but that can come. I can do that. That's not a problem. But for me, the things that is hard to teach him is the things that I wasn't taught. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So I wasn't taught to be emotional. You understand what I'm saying to you? Like for instance, I was trained to go basically, like from zero. Listen, 0 to 100 is either this or that. So you know what I'm talking about, Q. Like we wasn't. That's what I'm saying. Like we kind of raised ourselves as men. So for me dealing with my son, I'm trying to teach him talk more. You understand what I'm saying? Let it out. If something's bothering you, talk to me because until you talk to me, I can't help you. I can't navigate you through that pain that you're feeling. You understand what I'm saying to you? So for me, like I never had a serious conversation with you about things that really matter. We always talked about sports and like girls, but we always had pain growing up, but we never spoke about them. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So that's the angle that I'm going with it, and then that's what I'm trying to teach my son. I could teach him how to be a football player. I could teach him how to work. I could teach him how to do that, but I need to teach him the other side of it. I got to teach him how to have a successful relationship with a woman. That's what I got to teach him
Do
because
you
that
think?
brings a totally different pain.
Do you think? Let me ask you. Do you think the reason why we probably haven't had those discussions is because it's like, yo, I know what you're going through, man. I'm going through the same thing. It ain't no sense in us talking about it. It's like repetitive. Like what's most times people will feel comfortable talking to people that maybe grew up like how we always looked at people that had the 2 parent home, and we probably be like, man, they was born with us, they had an advantage. So maybe we might not have felt comfortable talking to each other like, yo, man, yo, ain't no food at the house. Like I don't think a lot of people understand. Like, yo, I could relate, or you could relate. Like maybe it's like, I'm telling you, it ain't no food in the house. And you looking at me like, ain't no food at my house neither. So what we gonna do? When we were younger, that usually led to us doing things that were not productive, as young men should be trying to do. Um, I think that one of like when we hit on the mother aspect, that when you're dealing with this issue, I think that the mothers, like I said, Young men have a tendency to cling into their mothers and seeing their mothers struggling, and it hurts them to the core. And I think that that may be one of the reasons why the emotion ain't there, because you be like, man, if I ever get in a situation like this, I'm not going to treat a woman like how I look like my mother's being treated. Even if you ain't showing the emotion, you'll be like, yo, mom's struggling as hell, yo. Like, she can't even keep a job. She got issues going on. So you may be like, if I ever be around a woman like this, I'm not gonna allow that to happen. I know one of the things for me, and bring that you bring, so I'm gonna share something I don't tell people, and the only people that live with me will understand this. I have grown to be an overcompensator, and what I mean by that is I'm the guy that may be a hoarder when he goes to the store. Like, I'm the type that I go in a store and say I'm just going there to get some orange juice, and I'll start buying a bunch of other stuff that I really don't need, but I want it because of I know how it is not to have. So I'll go. And I didn't realize until about 15 years ago, like, yo, why I keep buying all this stuff? I don't need it. But I just feel like, yo, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. I know how it is not to have. I mean, I don't want to be in that position because that feeling is undescribable. Nobody knows that feeling but somebody that has been there. So what you think, Mr. Leak?
Well, for me, I think what we hit on a lot, and especially what Cam was saying, was not being raised by fathers and trying to figure it out myself. Before I knew it, I had kids by three different women. And when I started to look back at my dad's story and started because I knew who he was, I knew where he was, even though I didn't have a relationship. I ended up he had kids by three and four different women. So I just go it goes to show without him raising me properly, I was able to in turn make the same mistakes he had. Guess what conversation I have with my 23-year-old son all the time? Son, first time you have a kid by one of these women out here, you better make sure that that's the one you want because you do not. And then he sees me. So when I go to court and got to go for child support, when I go and got to pay my daughter's tuition and try to figure out how much my ex-wife is going to help me pay or not pay, I take him with me. So he sees this firsthand. He gets back in the car like, yo, you know the life that you could have if you didn't have to pay for me, pay for my sisters, and none of the women that you had kids with are reasonable with you. She
Anybody
he gets
watch Anybody watching in the chat, we more than welcome some interaction in the comments and tell us how y'all feel. I'm not looking in the chat. I can't tell if it's a male or a woman, but we'd appreciate it because we don't know. And like Cameron said in the text is that we, even as middle-aged men, we're all in our mid 40s or older, we're still searching for those answers. We're still learning trial by error. We're still learning how to be emotional. We're still learning how to be gentlemen. We're still learning how to what good friend of mine says is a solutionary, because we only know conflict and how to deal with conflict resolution two or three ways: either deal with it, let it go. We are not the type to deal with it through an emotional aspect. So anybody in the comments, and watching, you're more than welcome to share your personal experiences or to question us about ours. We're open books right now. We're here.
well,
Um,
not being raised by a dad, like a real dad, sit down every state phase of the life, a maturity process. I definitely know that that's why I don't know how to deal with conflict resolution. I know it one way, and even at 49 years old, I'm still going about it that same way. Now, Cameron will remind me, you are 49 years old. So I can't allow the fact that you went through 21 years, 22 years of your life without a dad. We now made it 49 years. You're sharp enough to know better, but that still comes. I'm still learning that the emotions of matters drive things before the mind do. My heart and my soul moves before my mind does, and that's why at the older I get, I'm taking more time out to really step away from people so I can kind of readjust to how to deal because with dealing with people comes with dealing with relationships and it comes with setting expectations. And I expect that if I've always showed you respect and we want to get to the bottom of a matter, and I'm doing it respectfully, I expect you to deal with me the same way. And not having a dad to show you that people aren't going to deal with you the right way, then I'm going off the edge. I'm going to take it all the way to death because you're just not going to hurt my ego. Not being raised with a dad made me think that my ego is more important and my pride is more important than anything in life.
Hey B, I'm getting a lot of feedback from your end, B.
It is.
Yeah, Cam,
Yeah.
go ahead. Do your thing, brother.
No, I mean, I'm just, I'm just listening, man. I mean, it's just like I think about things like this. Like it just came to me. Like it's like I never even had a serious conversation with my mother until I was 43. You know what I mean? And for me, that was deep because like growing up, me, Marlon, like my circle very small. We, we didn't talk. You know what I mean? Like we didn't talk about things that was bothering us. You understand what I'm saying to you? Like I just tucked it in the back and I kept doing what I thought I should be doing. You understand what I'm saying to you? Like, so for me, like my father was locked up, right? Died in jail. I said to myself, I'm not going to jail, right? So, our friends, right? We know what our friends were doing. I wasn't going to do that. You know? So my avenue was sports. You understand what I'm saying to you? It didn't make me better, but that's still my family. You understand what I'm saying to you? I still hang out with my friends, but when it was time for me to do what I got to do, I'll go to the golf course and I'll punch up. I collect balls 6 o'clock in the morning and make that pump $8 an hour. You understand what I'm saying to you?
By the
As
way,
long
who
as I
got
was
you
able,
that job?
you got me the job, Brad. But that don't. I mean, that's not what we're talking about. But what I'm saying to you is, I just think back to our childhood and things that we talked about as friends growing up, all the things that we've been through, and like there's a lot of trauma that we compartmentalized and we never talked about. And I think us as men now in our 40s, we should start talking about that because if we talk about it, um, we can make ourselves better fathers. You understand what I'm saying to you? So it's easy for us to talk about sports. It's easiest for, like to talk about things that to me really don't matter. Like I'm more into being a better person, being a better father, being that's what I'm into. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people know me as coach. A lot of people don't know, but know me as me, camera. You understand what I'm saying? Like I want to be the best father possible because I didn't have that. You understand what I'm saying? Now I've done some things wrong, you know what I mean? Because I thought, you know, like when my son first started playing football, like man, what the hell are you crying for? Get up. You don't cry. Like, well, this ain't a sport for for you. I had to check myself. You know what I mean? Like he hit hard, that shit hurt. And so he started crying. It's all right. You know what I mean? It's all right. Get up. You know what I mean? Do you still want to play? So, it's I was taught not to cry. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you don't cry. You know what I mean? Because if you cry, you soft. So like these small things shape us as young boys growing to be men. And I think it's time for us as men to start talking about serious conversations
Do
and
you
having
think,
serious.
Cam? Do you think that burden that we carry, that anger, that resentment that we carry? I know you're saying like, yo, it's time to like have these conversations, definitely with each other and definitely with our families, because we need to let that kind of talk about it, not just to let it go, but to understand that it's okay to have been hurt. It's okay to have been uh, also upset about our upbringing. Do you think that us not talking about it is holding us back, Cam?
Say that again, Q.
That us not talking about it is holding us back?
I think it's holding us back because, um, like for instance, like me and you haven't seen each other in maybe years, right? But if I got a call, yo, Quentin need me, I'm there, right? We good for that, right? But even when we were around each other, we never had serious conversation. Like you know everything about me, I know everything about you. That's what I'm saying. Like we was playing with each other since we was 8. And for you not to even know who my father is or my story about that is crazy to me. Because these are things that I wouldn't talk about. You understand what I'm saying to you? And that shaped me of like who I was as a father. That's what motivated me as a man. You understand what I'm saying? So the only father figure I had was my uncle. But I was only taught, a couple of things like like you gotta provide. You have to provide. So that was my one thing. I gotta provide. I work as many jobs as possible. I don't care. I work 9 jobs, but I gotta make sure I have some money in my pocket. You understand what I'm saying to you? But I wasn't taught how to connect with a woman emotionally. You understand what I'm saying to you? So for me, I know 60% of being a man, but that other 40 is vital. It's vital, Q, because well, without that other 40, you're not going to be successful, if that makes sense. You understand what I'm saying to you? So for me, I think if we start talking as friends and people who I've been around, and we start talking and then we start understanding, I think we could become better people, better
Brad,
men, and
Brad, what
then
you think
better role
about what
models.
Cameron said?
I can't hear him.
We can't hear you.
Still can't hear him.
Still can't.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I didn't know if Cameron was gonna make it all the way there, but I was gonna ask: are we gonna talk about how not having a father affected our relationships with women? And I want to be careful because I didn't talk about my wife with this, and I don't want her to hear me talk about something intimate with somebody else. But I'm going. Um, I know when the point when I really understood a woman is when I was 38 years old and I went through the divorce with my ex-wife, and everything I had saved for in my life. Finally, I got a relationship with children that I wake up in the morning, they there, I make sure they get to school. I'm really looking in the mirror like, I'm living that fatherhood that my father ain't never lived. I can look at other people, other fathers ain't lived. I'm living that fairy tale, and I'm like, this is real. And then it was all snatched from underneath me. Now, I was responsible for it because what I didn't really understand was part of being a father was being a good husband. And that's what my wife today benefits from. While we don't have kids together, I help her raise these. These are my boys, and I look and pour into them and I understand. In order for me to really be a good dad, I got to be good to this woman next to me too. All of that is part of the package of fatherhood. And I was wondering if we were going to get there tonight, and it sounds like we're going to get there. I'm ready.
I mean,
Well,
that's where I want to go.
well, my
You
well,
know what I
my
mean? I
my
mean, that's
situation, you know, because of my my paid vacations from the state of New Jersey, as I like to call it, my situation, his I would say that my son's grandmother played a major role in me and his development. Before she passed away, she was like, I don't care what you and my daughter go through, that's your son. That's your legacy. And what I did is I listened more to him more than I allowed him to listen to me. I basically became his friend. Even though he respects me as his father and he listens, but I became his friend. And now our relationship is like, he'd be like, yo, he'll call me, be like, yo, what's up? And then I'll be like, nothing. He'd tell me about his girlfriend. He'll be like, then if I know if he want to talk about something serious, he'll be like, Dad or Pops, I got to talk to you about something. And then I know, like, put my serious attitude on, what's up? And I say that to say, like, for those of us we're trying to get to the root of this issue is that parenting doesn't come with a handbook, number one. And I learned that even Cam, like your situation and Brad's situation, we always had male role models. Even though our biologicals wasn't there, the male role models, a lot of times we assume male role models that are good for us or bad for us. But the male is gonna assume a role model. And even with your Uncle Cam. He was the role model of the hood. You know, B's uncles, the role models of the hood. This Bishop Lake, like everybody know who he was. So I say that when we trying to deal with women, I just don't think that we knew. Like I think that in our aspect, we thought that this is how you get a woman. You push up. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the
We
answers for this one.
we didn't
But
see.
here's the thing, though, Q. Hold on. Here's the thing. You're
I'm
right.
sorry.
That's how you get a woman. But how to keep a woman? You got to engage emotionally with that woman.
Mm,
I
And these are
can
things that we're not taught, Q. Like, like these are things that we're not taught because we are taught to don't bitch, don't complain. Like I wasn't taught how to communicate emotionally with a woman.
and I
You know what I mean?
listen,
So, you
Cam.
know what I mean? So
I
these are
don't think
things that we wasn't taught.
Cam, and I agree with you 1,000%. I don't think most people are taught. I don't think most people are taught. I think that a lot of, like, even now, and this is one thing that, like you said, that we don't do is that iron sharpens iron. At the end of the day, if you got your crew and you got your circle, and if you're not, it's only going to go as so far as we allow it. For example, and I'm going to use our brotherhood, for example. All of us will tell hood stuff that we may not tell each other.
that's right.
And the reason why we all tell hood stuff is because one thing about hood is hood ain't even gonna
It's
cut you
crazy.
off. You're gonna look at hood
Yep.
like, yo, is you
Yep.
really listening to me?
Yep.
And hood will give you advice and be like, you should do it this way. And he has no problem telling us when we're wrong.
And Hood's not gonna push his problems on while he's taking your problems in, he ain't gonna push his problems on you. He puts you first and foremost when you having a discussion with Hood. That's what
So
makes him that's
so
what makes
so
him so.
so I would say that we got, you know, I think that and when you're dealing with friends, you have a friend for different situations when you're dealing with them. And for us, we all deal with Hood like, yo, Hood, yo, what should I do? Like, what you think? And Hood will probably tell somebody like, yo, man, our brother going through it, yo. He got some situations going on. And you be like, damn. Because we all going through the same shit. We all been through the same issues, Cam. I mean, I get 1,000% what you're saying about the emotion. I think that the emotion, like somebody said in the comments, sometimes people look at emotion as a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
And with our mothers and the way we was raised, I don't ever see that changing, unfortunately.
Look, Q. Let me say this. It's no way in hell you would have cried in front of us when we was growing up. No matter how much you was in pain, right? So, because we'd have looked at you like, yo, man, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Yo, you better tighten up, right? So when you tuck that away, you build up a aggression that comes out later that you don't even realize. You understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like for me, I'm probably as I would say me and Sean is the two most stubbornest people out of the crew, right? So it takes a brick sometimes for me to see it. You understand what I'm saying to you? And my situation with my kids, mother, it took that for me to say, whoa, you ain't doing something right.
Amen.
Like, be honest with yourself. You know what I mean? Look
Amen.
yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself. So I had to go all the way back and I had to do something that most of us wouldn't have done. I had to go talk to somebody. Like, let's really talk about it. You understand what I'm saying to you? So for me, I chose like my biggest fear. You understand what I'm saying to you? Because I'm like, I ain't soft. I don't need to go talk to nobody. I'm doing everything right. You know what I mean? I stayed out of trouble, went to school, graduated from college. I work, I come home, I don't go out,
You a
I do everything
fancy
right,
Negro. You a
right?
fancy Negro.
Right? But but me thinking I did everything right, that was only 60% because that other 40 that I didn't develop got me in a real sticky situation. You understand what I'm saying to you? So now As me knowing that,
Come on, Cam.
I gotta say, whoa, I gotta regroup and I gotta build myself back up.
Come
You
on,
understand
Cam.
what I'm saying to you? But the next time around, that's the end game. You understand what I'm saying to you? So um the next woman I get, she gonna get something that she ain't even ready for. Because I'm
And
gonna have that whole 100%. You understand what I'm saying to you? But it's like things that you have to go through to kind of say to yourself that I need to start doing things differently. So for me, when I look at my sons and I see how they interact and like the things that they do, like for me, my goal is to make sure my sons are better men than me. Like that's my goal. Like he has to be a better man than me. Before I die, he has to be a better man than me. And I have to teach him that whole, not just the 60, but that 40. The 60 is easy. The 60 is easy, but that 40 really hits the soul. You understand what I'm saying to you? So for me, and that's me talking, because y'all know I normally don't talk. I
yo,
normally
this is great.
don't come
This is
online.
great. I ain't. That's
Like,
why ain't nobody. We letting
like,
you go.
like, because I don't do that. You know what I mean? And I'm so like I try to be so humble, and like you guys never hear me say I was the best this, I was the best that. You guys do that for me. Like my friends do that for me. But it's like now if you get me going and we on the court and we playing, of course I'm gonna get at you, but I don't say that I'm the best or like I just try to let my work speak for itself. And just because I went to college and I stayed out of trouble and I didn't go to jail, it don't make me no difference than you. Like I have never looked at my friends as something different. Like my circle is very small and it will always be small. And my uncle would say, "Why are you hanging out with them?" I'm like, "Well, those are my friends." And I'm not changing my friends. It is what it is. I know when to go home though. You understand what I'm saying to you? But I was always the first one to fight. Now that was my issue, right? I was the first one to win. Like everybody knew my nickname, kickoff, right? I was ready for that. But I wouldn't do other things. You understand what I'm saying to you? So it just never made me different. So it's just for me, it's just all about growth, man. It's just all
Can't.
about growth. Like I'm more into talking about things that's gonna make me a better father, so I can teach my sons to be better men. Like, that's what
I.
I'm into. Man.
So Cam.
It's
So Cam, we've identified it as a 60-40, and the 60 was easy to understand because that's that we teaching, we there, we got the bread, blah blah blah. Yo, get up, blah blah blah. Right, we the voice, right? And I know you said part of the 40 is the emotional aspect. Is there more to the 40%? Because I want to make sure we ain't just calling it 60-40 and we not putting real meat on the bone. So 40% is emotion. What else is in that 40?
well, I'm just saying it's just no. For I would say 20 is emotion, and then 20 is communicating, right? Because if you're not taught to now, like for instance, like this is what I used to hear in my relationship. I'm a bully, right? I'm like, what are you talking about? I ain't a bully. Like I never told this woman no in 20 years. Anything she asked for was always yes, right? Anything she wanted, I gave to her, right? So for me, I never talked about what was bothering me. You understand what I'm saying to you? I didn't know how to talk about that because if I talked about it, I felt like I was being a bitch. But that's the immaturity that I developed because I wasn't shown that other side of it. Do you understand what
So
I'm
when
saying
you
to
had to respond,
you?
it came out mad because you were
It
so
came
much.
out real aggressive, like get the F out of here. Like, and for her, that destroyed her as a woman. But I couldn't see that because I couldn't express what was really bothering me.
We
But
You
I'm
all
gonna
understand
ask
what
you.
I'm
I'm
saying?
gonna, I'm gonna ask you a question, and this is something I learned, right? And
we did the same thing. We all
I
did
hate
the
to
same
say
thing.
it, man. I don't be putting this phrase out there, but I live by this phrase when it comes to relationships. Two imperfect people trying to live a perfect life together. Nobody
Yeah,
perfect, man. And at the
I
end of
get
the
that.
day, Cam, I'm not justifying your situation, but a lot of times when we have relationships, um, the attraction, the sex, the chemistry, that's all great. But maybe like the background issue is not really talked about. Like the my situation, right? And I always tell people this: if you don't get along with your siblings, I can't deal with you. And the reason why I say that, because my relationship with my brothers and sisters is so good. I don't know how it is to argue with them. I don't know nothing about that. When people say, "Oh, a sibling rival," I don't know what that is. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I mean, y'all know how we was as kids. We would be.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. And I don't want to sound extreme. I couldn't even see myself arguing with one of y'all right now. Like, really?
I
Well,
couldn't argue with one of
we
y'all.
did all that already. We done fought and did all that retarded stuff. I'm arguing with somebody. I'm arguing with somebody that know me better than any human being on the face of this earth because both my parents is gone. So my friends know me more than any human being on the face of this earth, and I'm gonna be arguing and fighting with them and falling out. So my approach to that aspect of my life is how I deal with relationships. If me and you vibing and you tell me you can't you got a brother you don't talk to and ain't talked to in 6 months, I'm be looking at you like that's whack to me. But that's me. And I'm not trying to get nobody to change for me. I just want them this who I choose to be with, I want them to be that way as well. I say that Cam, like with your situation, communication, man, is the most important aspect of any relationship. Picking up, I mean, something as simple as it may sound corny, Cam, writing a letter to somebody you're married, but you writing them a letter like, "Yo, I just want to tell you I love you." Something simple. It sounds stupid and corny or whatever, but like maybe going forward, this is what we need to do because Cam, even in that, I got a grandfather that was married like 60 something years, Joe. And he was a piece of work to my grandmother. You know what I'm saying? And it's like their marriage wasn't perfect, but they did what they had to do and they sacrificed for the kids. I think a lot of times with us, we don't do that. That's the difference we have with we have a lot of pride. Like you said, we have so much pride where we be selfish and be like, well, it's gonna be this way or it ain't gonna be no way. And that's you're right. That's what we have to teach our sons, especially and our daughters. For those of us that got daughters, not to be that way, not to be prideful. Realize that relationships is communication and give and take.
Absolutely. I agree with that. But you got to be taught that.
Yeah, I was about to say, when you say we got to communicate going forward, I think going forward, I think after every failure, we all moved forward better. But those failures came at critical times of our lives, man. Like failing, like bro, first failing at 26 years old and then getting back married at 28 and failing at 37 and starting all over again at 37, 38 years old, yo, that was a hurt piece, man. So that's why I tell the one upstairs, man, listen, I have no more dice to play. Like I have no more game. And I don't ever want her to see like, well, now I'm broken, so now I'm ready to be the man that I should have been my whole life. But nah, but at the same time, I don't have no more dice to play. So when Cameron says the next one he get, I already know. I'm living like I'm one step. When I saw what Cam was about to go through,
Somebody said, hold on, B. Somebody said, but he's saying he didn't know how to communicate to someone that doesn't how. That's just talk. I don't know what that person meant. Easier said than done. Who
Well,
said that?
I would suggest that I always tell everybody you don't want to look at the comments and try to figure it out. I'll figure it out for you. With your situation, Cam, is that you gave her everything. You never said no, and you never told her what was bothering you until you was able to. Basically, you was lashing out, and for lack of better words. Do you think that if you would have been able to say no to some of those things, you would have been able to verbally say what was bothering you?
No, 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 no. What I meant by that is, when I said that, I never told her no. I kind of touched on what you said. Like, I kind of overcompensated. Like, for instance, like I work two full-time jobs. Everybody know that. I work 19 hours a day for 10 years. You understand what I'm saying to you? I coach college football. I was an AD, right? I did that. Woke up 4 in the morning. Did that until
You
about
only got two jobs
my
now?
state job.
Tighten up,
I,
Cam.
well,
well,
listen,
no, he was
and
selling
then I
real
did
estate.
my
He's selling the shelf
full-time
short.
state
He
job.
had three.
Listen, and then I did my full-time state job. So I literally was never home, right? Now all of my kids were in private school, okay? So we put our kids all through private school. Okay. So what I mean by is that I kind of overcompensated. Whatever she want, I say yes to. You understand what I'm saying to you? But that was my way of, providing. You know what I mean? Like I was taught, if your wife, your other half, like listen, she had a job too. Like she had to raise 4 kids and she still had to do, what she had to do. That's tough. You know what I mean? Like that's harder than what I had to do. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I realized that. But when it came to the meat and bones, when she needed me to communicate or something like that, I wouldn't do that. Right? Because what I'm saying is that we wasn't taught that. It ain't a I'm not trying to make an excuse. I'm just trying to be real and just try to tell y'all that it's like certain things that we got to teach our sons to do so they can have a successful relationship. That's all that I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying to you? So maybe you misunderstood what I meant by that. So for me, it didn't matter what it was. Like when she didn't want to work no more, okay, right? But I knew that was going to put more pressure on me, right? So if she want, me time, I'm like, me time, shit. I got paid for 4 private schools, a mortgage, car note. Like, where do you think the money coming from? So that frustration, it was just build up, build up, build up. But I didn't know how to communicate that. I'm like, what don't you see? Like, we don't have time to go out to no movies. I
Talk,
gotta go to
Karen.
I can't.
Talk,
I
Karen.
can't even. I
so
can't even get a talk
you gotta
game in,
know how
huh?
to communicate. You understand what I'm saying to you? So this is a deep conversation. It's like so many roads to take. But for me, is I just wanted to have this talk about fatherhood so we can start really talking about meat and bones and not to me that don't make sense right now, like sports and all of that. Like to me, like that's like surface stuff. Let's get to the real stuff.
I
But
love
You
it,
understand?
Karen.
Shakita,
I'm loving this
Shakita,
maturity.
hey Cam,
It's all
Sha-
about growth, man.
I'm
Shakita,
loving this maturity.
Shakita, Shakita explained exactly what she meant. Now I understand exactly what she meant. She said, you have to be taught. People swear they can communicate, and it's everybody but them. Can't even make new friends and blame women or blame everyone but themselves. So I understood. I understand exactly what you're saying. But so Cam, you
She was
in your
agreeing with you, Cam.
she
No,
was
no, no,
agreeing.
no. I didn't think she was coming for me. I just
Okay.
didn't understand. That's all.
Okay.
Cam, so it's so you felt as though, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't think I think all of my relationships basically was destroyed because of my shit.
Oh,
I'll say that,
I
and
know
and
mine
and
was
the
because
reason
of
why
him.
if it wasn't for some of the immature stuff that I did, it was from the behaviors that I was doing. But look, right, Cam. So you do you think it was more of you felt like you was damned if you do and damned if you don't, yo?
Oh, brother, I couldn't win. It was a game that was rigged for me, right? Because I felt like, what you want me to do? Like, listen, shit got to get paid, right? So, I got to provide. I don't
It's a
hustle. You
great
understand?
Like
conversation.
I'm not hustling. You know what I mean? I'm hustling in a different way. I'm going to work. You
for
understand what I'm
those
saying?
for those in the chat, the reason why me and Brad keep laughing, because if y'all know Cameron
He doesn't
the
open
way
up like
we
this.
do, he opening up and this dude be working 4 and 5
Yeah,
jobs, yo.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
we go months
yeah,
without seeing him, and then
yeah,
he'll just pop up and be like, "I'm on vacation, but I got to go
yeah,
to my other 2 jobs."
yeah,
Like he works a lot of different jobs trying to provide for his family, which is
yeah.
definitely a great thing,
And
man.
gave him a
And
highlight. And me and Cam, and that's why I'm laughing because me and him went through the same thing. I went down to Delaware, built a 6,000 square foot house, sent them to fancy schools, and I was sleeping there 2 nights a week. And I thought I did it. I was like, what are you unhappy for? I come back to the door. I'm like, hey, I'm like, wait, I'm happy. There's no way you unhappy. Are you serious? Unhappy? Let me show you unhappy. I just came through 4 airports, and every one of my flights was delayed. Unhappy. And I didn't understand the emotional connection because when it was all said and done, and I went to a point where she started cheating on me. I had lost my job, but I had got a good severance package. So I said, all right, I'll stay home for 6 months. You go do your thing. She said, yeah, I need some adult conversation. I should have known that was the key right there. But she said I need adult conversation. I didn't get it. It went right over my head. So that means I'm gonna find me a dude. I'm gonna do my thing. You sit here and do what I did, brother. And I was calling her. Like she used to call me. I used to be like, man, why is she calling me like this? Is she crazy? I'm at work. Put the phone down. So now I'm home. I'm calling her. Ain't nobody answering. I'm like, did she? And then I got to a reality, a harsh reality to say, oh my God, when I'm going through the last 6 months, she went through the last 13 years. And that's when I
Yeah,
realized you got to connect with a woman emotionally. If you don't
yeah,
connect with a woman emotionally, you can be giving her cars, you can be giving her sex at night that is through this roof, but in the morning you don't have a conversation for her from 8 to 5, brother. And if you were the woman that ain't looking for you from 8 to 5, that don't care that you don't speak to her from 8 to 5, brother, even a text message or something. Hmm.
We ask that any women that's watching this show, shoot your shot. Ask the questions that you would want your man to ask you, or vice versa. Because at the end of the day, the purpose of the show is to try to help us all get to understand human behavior and each other in relationships. And if we could help ourselves as well as one person, I always like to say this, be a better person than they was yesterday by seeing the show. That's the perfect thing, and that's the goal of the group. Now, key to Cam, but Cam is saying he sees how his relationship with his father set the tone for his relationship, right? So you think Cam, the lack of relationship that you had with your father, made you the way you were with your wife?
yeah. Well, basically, I had to raise myself, so I did the things that I thought a man should do. Right, by work hard, uh, come home, don't hang out in the clubs, don't hang out in bars. Come home, work hard, provide for the family. But by not having a male role model like to tell me I need to connect with a woman emotionally and to communicate like the things that I'm not getting. Like I wouldn't even talk about the things that I was unhappy with. You understand what I'm saying to you? And that shit build up. Like that's from you talking about 10 years of me not talking about what bothered me. You understand what I'm saying to you? So when I did lash out, it probably did come off as a bully. You understand what I'm saying to you? And what that did to her was, like she'll say things like this. I don't protect her heart. And that shit fucked me up. I was like, what? I don't protect your heart. Like, what do you mean by that? Right? And what she meant by that was I didn't connect with her emotionally. You understand what I'm saying to you? So me not having a father taught me some immature things. And the immaturity was me not being able to communicate and me not being able to connect with a woman emotionally, just to answer her question. So, and that's just like how we dealt with each other as like friends. There was no talking out. It was either one, two, three, man, what's up? Let's shoot this fair one, right? Because we ain't know how to talk it out. You know what I mean? It was either, listen, man, I'm gonna knock you out, and then that's that. You understand what I'm saying to you? When you know what I mean? Like talk about it or tuck your pride away. You understand what I'm saying to you? Like now, just like you said, Q. Like we 40, I'm 45, right? What I look like arguing with you right now, right? Now I could talk, or even if you said something, I'm mature enough to be like, all right, I get it, I see it. Like I seen black and white, and like I had to learn this. I had black and white tunnel vision. Now I see gray areas. If that makes sense.
I'm before I get to, because somebody asked you a
You know what I
question.
mean by that?
Yeah, somebody asked you a specific question, Brad. But before I get to that, Cam, do you think that just and I'm not you? I mean, you self-evaluating yourself, and I appreciate it. Do you think that the way that you are or were, it just didn't work out for that particular woman, or you believe that it was just all you, like this, you
Well,
destroyed
no,
it?
no. I'm only owning my shit. You understand what I'm saying to you? Now, there was some other stuff involved, but I can't worry about that. I can only worry about myself. You understand what I'm saying to you? So
Facts.
I'm not gonna bring, her shit into it. I can only fix myself. You understand what I'm saying to you? So, um, that's what
Wow,
I'm saying. Like, it
I
was
gotta
certain
mature.
things that I should have been able to talk about. But those touchy situations didn't make me comfortable because I wasn't taught. I didn't have the practice. You understand what I'm saying to you? So me, like for now, like I could seriously have a conversation, say like with Shakita, right? If she wanted to talk, I talk. I tell her about everything, all my personal stuff, because now I'm mature enough to know. Listen,
Mm,
I'm okay with that. You
God
understand what I'm
bless.
saying? I'm content with showing her who I really am. You understand what I'm saying? And we don't know each other like that, but 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I wouldn't tell her nothing. Like, you know that. Like, I don't talk. You know what I mean? But now I have learned that I gotta talk. You understand what I'm saying? I have to let people know, what I'm feeling, how I'm feeling. Um, I didn't like that. Let's talk. So, like, I had developed, like I had to learn this, and it's just something that kind of, that I say, like, I got a heart full of ears now.
Wow. Wow.
You understand
Hey,
what I'm saying to
Cam.
you? So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen. Like, we don't actively listen. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
wow.
I'm so quick to just get my point across now. I could actively listen to an actual female. You
Hey,
understand what I'm saying to you?
hey Cam. Hey Brad. Hey Cam. They jumped on B butt, man. They said, Brad, how did it feel when the cards were flipped?
So, and I peeked into the chat, so I'm gonna look my little sister square into the eyes. Tasha Brown, I saw she asked that question. Let me tell you something, Tosh. Every ounce of karma that I put out in this world, every woman that I felt like I can do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, when it came back on me, and I was in Delaware, I was home, I was kind of bouncing what career I wanted to go. So I was at my lowest point. And that woman stepped on me when I was at my lowest point, and she had every right to do it. Like Cameron, I don't bring her crap into what made me a better person, but that pain, oh, that pain. When I see relationships going south now, I'm trying to see who has that pain that I know what that pain is. And it took me 39 years, 38, 37 years in life to experience pain at that level. And it crushed me like no other pain. I will never go through that again in life. I will never treat a woman as if she's less than or she can do what she's supposed to do when I tell her she's supposed to do. I have a partner. I don't ever have a woman again anytime in my life. I hope that fairly answers the questions what it felt like, the reality, man. I'm reminded of it any day and every day, and which is why I hope Kim can say she has a man that she truly trusts and love because of what I've been through, and I hope that's not cheap to Kim. It's scary. It's scary. I don't want to ever want to help her to know that somebody else what somebody else did to me made me better for her. But I'd be relying if that's not the reality of the matter. We on let's talk. We got to talk.
Now, Shakita is my lovely co-host, and what she had to put in the comment. Y'all don't listen because she always tell us men don't listen. So I had to repeat her statement up there. So Shakita, we listening today, Shakita. We in the comments. Be in the comments. Ask these questions. Like I said, this should be helpful for all of us to grow.
We don't actively listen.
We don't.
Um, we don't actively listen. That's why I said, I had to develop that. I got a heart full of ears, because you have to actively listen, and you have to really, um, be able to, understand where she's coming from. Like women see gray areas, man.
Look,
Like, they don't
look,
see black and white.
All I'm gonna tell you is Shakita said I have laid out roadmaps, and still, you have to understand that this is her wheelhouse right now. This
No,
is
no. I
something
mean,
that
listen.
she's been
That's
talking
her
about for the last
experience.
six,
Listen,
7 months.
listen. I don't know if she's married, or if she's in a relationship, and I don't know that man. But I'm a I can only speak for most of the men that I know, and that's my core friends, and we don't listen. You understand what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we don't actively listen, or
Oh,
even when we get
Pam
into
said that. My
uh,
bad. I couldn't see it. I thought it was
But
Keita.
hold on.
uh
But if I may, and to Pam or Shakita, whoever we don't know what we're listening for. And I need women to step back. When I say that, meaning some women still don't come out and say what it is. They still want you as the man, as the provider, to figure out based upon what just happened. They expect you to understand the difference that just happened. They want you to figure out what they need after that.
I
So,
just said
so,
that, B.
oh, I'm sorry.
Gray
I'm sorry.
areas. Listen, we see black and white men.
We don't
We
see
see white
gray.
women. Women have gray areas. So, for
I'm
instance,
sorry,
like
Cam.
like this, like this. I'm gonna give you a example, right? She get mad at you because you ain't wash the dishes. Okay? You like, yo, I just worked 2 shifts, man. I'm tired. I work 6 days a week. She's not mad about the dishes. She's mad about something else that you guys didn't talk about
Yeah,
2 weeks
yeah,
ago.
yeah. The
That's the
dishes is
gray
the
area.
low hanging fruit. The dishes is the
Listen,
low hanging
that's the
fruit.
gray area. That's the gray area that we don't see as men, and I never could see that until I got smacked in the face. You
Bing.
understand? What I'm saying? So that so for us and like the stubbornness that we developed because the way that we was raised, we didn't listen. You couldn't tell us nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me I was doing something wrong because I figured, no, I'm doing everything right. I'm working. I'm doing everything right. I'm not out in the streets. I come home every day. I'm not cheating. I'm doing everything right. So you telling me I'm doing something wrong? I couldn't see that. So I couldn't connect those dots.
I'm
So
a
that's what I mean by growth. So you gotta like that's the 60 that I had. Like I could provide. Like y'all know that I will work and work and work. Right? I know how to be faithful, right? But I didn't know how to connect emotionally. Man, that's what they need. They need for you to connect with them emotions. Like they know you working, they know you working hard, they know you working for the family, but at the end of the day, she needs you to connect with her.
She
Just
still
take
could
out
be your
15 minutes
queen,
out of your day
even
and
though
just talk to her. Huh?
even though you went out and did all of that, you still could hold up as your queen. She's not.
Huh?
She's not. No, what that's what I'm agreeing with you, Cam. She even though you worked for, and provided for her, she still want to be held up as a queen, and that's where the part that I think we miss. We look for a partner. They don't understand there's certain times that women still want to be held up as a queen, and I think that's where we fall short.
I'm gonna ask you a question, Brad. And I didn't know Tasha was in the chat. She knows because she knows the men in our family. And Brad, I'm gonna ask you a question that we can speak on with having fathers like that were similar. Do you think that your being a ladies' man prior was basically following exactly in your father's footsteps?
And that's what I said. And I didn't even realize it was until after the fact. The thing that I think hurt me, we growing up in the 70s, right? I don't even think being cute today matters like it did. Growing up in the 70s, all I was told was, oh my God, he's so handsome. Oh my God, he's so cute. And I just took that over into I don't need no game. And then I had a little mouthpiece too, but I ain't need no game. I'm going with the fact that, hey, I'm cute. Let's go. Hey, I'm handsome. Let's go. That was being cute and handsome left me to handsome and cute child support payments. For real, for real. Ain't no benefit came from them.
Hey, no, because I know that bloodline, man, is serious because one of Brad. I come from a family that the men is notorious for being womenizers, and it's funny that even Brad's uncle is like one of my mentors, and it's like he still to this day, even though he live in Florida, he still send me a kite every once a week, like, yo, don't be like the men that you grew up around, and because they basically were womenizers. So this shapes you out to be you actually try to fulfill their legacy and don't even realize it
And
until
meanwhile, my uncle telling you that didn't he marry some girl while he was down in Florida? So he don't talking like he living.
no, no. I said to him, I said, "What are you doing?" He was like, I'm in love." I said, "Okay, I won't say anything. I won't say anything." He's like a mentor to me, and it's hilarious. But honestly, it's like the I guess we basically are three people that are examples of not having a father, how it shapes you, having a father and having the biological father not present in the house, how it shapes you. Because I think that all three of our situations are unique because they're not they're in the same town. And we know growing up where we grew up, Cam, your father was from Orange, right?
My father?
Yeah.
Nah, he was from New York.
I was
So
gonna say New York or Jersey
yeah.
City or something.
So
Nah, he
and
wasn't Jersey City.
me and mine was in town. Brad's was right around the corner. You might as well say.
Three
So it
minutes.
wasn't it wasn't no excuse. But it's just interesting that these dynamics are present. Somebody put that's all I ever hear from my male family members. I guess that's my cousin Tasha. She's not lying. I mean, if for men that come from young men that come from a bloodline with men that are womenizers, be very careful what you tell the young men and what they say. Like Brad said, all he ever heard was compliments. You know, oh, you such and such son, and that has a big effect on. Oh, I got this statement, Brad and Cameron. Y'all can remember this when we were kids. Oh, you cute, but you too young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Cam, any more, Cam? Like I said, I did do some research, and it said basically, you know, the success, and I think that's I don't know what we could define as success as growing up in a single parent home or having a two parent home. I mean, basically, it said the research that I did was on the resources that's available.
I mean, I just think we need to keep talking about it. I think we need to break it down into sections because I think it's real deep. I think it's a very deep subject, and I think it's something that we need to do. Because at the end of the day, we are fathers and we're leading men and women. Like I have boys and girls. You know what I mean? So, like for me, I tell my daughters, if a dude don't open the door for you, and if a dude don't carry your bags, he ain't shit. You understand what I'm
Yo,
saying to you? Like, so, any woman that I'm with, she don't open no doors and she don't carry her bags. Like small
Amen.
things like that. Like, um, it ain't always about having uh, millions of dollars or a bunch of money, but it's just all about how somebody treats you. You understand what I'm saying to you? So, like the small things matter more to women than the big things. You understand what I'm saying to you? So, small things, just communicating and just connecting with her emotionally. That don't cost no money. You understand what I'm saying? That's just a thought. That's just connecting with her, and like holding doors and doing all those things. So, these are things that I teach my daughters. But my boys, I teach them. Yo, hold your sister's back. You understand what I'm saying? So when we go on a road trip or we go into a track meet, yo, hold that for Sydney. Hold that for your sister Maya. You know what I'm saying? So I'm teaching them um how to treat our actual woman, basically.
Q-
But there's so much more that I need to teach them. But I got to learn that first. You understand what I'm saying to you? So it's just all about growth, man. You understand what I'm saying to you? Like, think about it, Q. 10 years ago, would you have went to therapy? Like, I don't even know if you ever did that before. Would you go to therapy? Would you sit down and then talk to a stranger and then tell
I
them
bet all
personal
three
stuff?
of us did.
well,
I bet all three of us did.
we all three went to surgery.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of us been to therapy before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
Yeah.
of one of the issues is that when you do go to jail, you have to talk to a psych. So
Mm-hmm.
I actually went when I came home because I had some issues that I wanted to personally discuss with the therapist, and I'm being away and being in situations. I call myself trying to become a student of life. So I used to read a lot, Cam, like turn it
Okay.
up. So I always try to understand human behavior and why I think the way I think, and why others think the way they think. I know that, for lack of better words, I think that a lot of times we look for something as adults that we may have been missing as a child. So to say that as an adult, I always wanted to have that perfect family atmosphere, like you say, Cam, to go to work, come home, and picket fence, this, that, third, and not have to worry about certain things. For me, that was one of the reasons why I did certain things. But now, as I gotten older, I realized, like, yo, just take your time, yo. It ain't no rush. Slow down. Just take your time. Have some patience, and things will happen slowly but surely.
If I may,
That's
I
definitely.
can tell you that I don't think that's me this time with the feedback.
I don't know what is. Go ahead, Brad.
I mean,
Cam, it
I'll
might
just
be
talk over.
yours.
Yeah, I'm going to take off.
Huh?
I know for me, Cam, get prepared, man, because I hearing your story, I kind of, by being as close to Marlon as I am, I'm getting to see it. I got to see it a lot. Tonight, put the cream on the cake for me on what's going on with you. I'm gonna be so excited for your breakthrough on the other side because I know y'all tease me now. Y'all look at how happy I am. I cannot wait, and I can tell you now, Kim. While I was going through what I was going through, Kim had already seen it because unlike you, I was very open with mine on Facebook. When you come home and find out your wife is such and such and such, what do you put on her side of the bed? Divorce papers. So everybody knew what I was going through as I was going through. It's very different than how you're dealing now, right? But somebody now is gonna hear your story. They got eyes on you, and they watching you as you come through. And as soon as you get to where they want you to be, brother, somebody gonna reveal themselves to you, and you're gonna be so prepared for them. They're gonna be so prepared for you. I already know how it ends because I'm like I said, I went through it. I'm watching it. The last thing I would challenge you on before I ask you on how to keep going on this is where would you connect with spirituality? Whatever your spirituality is, I would challenge you now to connect with it because I knew for a fact where everything went dark for me. My family was gone. My wife was gone. No women wanted to deal with me because they saw how broken I was. The one person that was there for me was my God. And I was so quiet in that moment that he was able to talk to me and I was able to hear it all. So I know you're getting your quiet time now. I just hope you connect with your spirituality. Before I get you to respond, because I see you want to respond, Q, the only place I want to keep going with this is I want to talk about how how me and your mind connects. How I don't think government services, when it interacts with the family, supports and pushes the black family further. And I think the more the black family relies on public assistance, I think we moving less towards the mother and father than we're moving further away from mother and father than we are closer to it, just by the rules of engagement.
Okay.
No, I mean, when he touched on religion, I think that's a whole nother segment because for me, um, religion is taught. That wasn't a requirement when I was growing up. You know what I mean? So, but that's another reason why me and my kid's mother is in the divorce things because in the beginning that wasn't a requirement, but 10 years later it was a requirement. And I'm like, well, y'all know me. I just don't jump on any butt. So I'm a fact finder, right? So she grew up in a Christian background. And I would ask questions. Now, listen, I didn't stop my kids from going to church. I would go to church here and there. But for me, I have certain questions that I need answered. So for me, if you can't answer those questions for me, I'm not getting on that bus. You understand what I'm saying to you? So now, me, I could relate more to the Muslim religion. But there's still some questions there that I need answered there also. You know what I mean? So religion to me, that's a whole nother segment. And I think we should touch on that the next time and then just focus on that because to me, that's another hour. That's
One
another
of
hour.
one of the things that he said, Cam, and I'm not disputing what you're saying. I think it's more of a spirituality thing, and
Say that again.
a spirituality thing out opposed of organized religion.
Yeah, I never said religion. You put the word religion. I said spirituality. You automatically equate because me and Q, I know how strong Q is in his Muslim faith. He know how strong I am in Jesus Christ. But we're still able to talk about how spirituality helps humanity and not get into the questions that you're because I already know what questions you're answering, and I can tell you now. I don't know what Q feels that he is with Muslim with Islam. I can tell you now. I wouldn't be the one. I'm not prepared to bring people to Jesus Christ with some of the questions that I think you're going to ask. You would have to talk to my cousin James or somebody who's deeply rooted. I wouldn't say I'm loosely rooted. I believe in it, but I'm not prepared to teach the word of Jesus Christ to get others to believe at the level I believe. Because I believe because of my upbringing, that's what got me believing it the way I believe. What you hit on was bingo.
I think, hey,
I mean,
Cam,
huh?
I like Brad said is that he's correct, and I I think that a lot of times people who believe in organized religion, some of them, as well as myself, at a certain point in life, they don't know what they really believe in, and they're just going along to get along. And the reason why I say that is because if you understand spirituality and you understand the religion that you say you believe in, even if it's not religion, you could believe in African spirituality. That's really not organized religion, um, so to say. The thing is having if you do believe in a creator, having that one-on-one relationship with that creator, that is probably the most important aspect of it, that a lot of people, even in organized religion, won't teach a person. They'll teach you, oh, just believe in this and believe in that. This person don't even believe that a creator exists. So how they gonna follow any rules if that one belief don't even ain't even there? So that would be something I probably, believe it or not, I probably would never talk about in public. It's
Okay.
as crazy as it may seem, and the reason why is because I've learned from teaching others people about religion when I was away, is that you gotta accept people on their level. And a lot of times we don't accept people on the level, even in the relationship aspect. People get people meet people, and like I said, the chemistry be good, and then you get mad because the person is not on a spiritual level or a religious level that you want them to be. Instead of teaching them, building faith, learning about the only way that a person's faith is going to grow when you talk about a religious aspect is through experience. Their faith just don't grow because, oh, I want my faith to grow. And then the next day their faith is just sky high. Experience. So you'll probably never hear me talk about that in public. Um, and not that I want to anyway, because there are other teachers that are way more qualified, like Brad, that would like Brad said, that'll get into that. But the thing is, like Brad said about the government services, and we all come from mothers who had to rely on the government and to get by. And one of the things that Anthony Outler said in the comments, and which is true, is that government services have destroyed the black family, have been one of the biggest things. And that was a question that we asked in the group: what destroyed the black family more, welfare or drugs? And a lot of people, look at us three. Both things affected us. So I think that with and saying that, we are literally products of our environment. So when a person says, oh, he came from this background, he can't do this or do that, that's not always true. And like in the research, it says the resources, it's certain resources that have to be implemented to guide, to push that individual. Like us three, we all benefited differently from Mr. Hayes. Mr. Hayes was tremendous for all three of us in a different way. And that was one of the gifts and goals that he had, and how he was a resource for us at that time.
Well, he knew he could to cool Cameron off. He knew the same thing that cooled Quentin off didn't cool Cameron off, didn't cool Brad off. But he knew if Brad, Cameron, and Quentin, all three of us got to acting up in the gym, there was going to be no peace that night. There was going to be no peace nowhere. So he knew how to get us. And I'm sure the three of us stood, and I'm sure the three of us was lined up at the same time, standing on one foot, singing some song at the same time. I look over, I was on one end, Cameron was on the middle, and Quentin was on the other end because that's how we was. But he wasn't going to let we weren't going to be alpha males in his gym. There was going to be one alpha male. And that's when we learned how important the alpha male is and how important in controlling the alpha male is. From a street perspective, from dealing with other dudes, oh, nobody's more built than us than dealing with other dudes. We know when somebody's about to rob us. We know when somebody wants to be our best friend. We smell BS from a mile away, but that does not equate to dealing with a woman. We were very taught how to be strong alpha males in our community, but we weren't taught how to be fathers and significant others to the species that's most important to our world. The woman is most important to our world. If you're a man and you don't have a woman that's the centerpiece of your world, I can't tell you what it is that you're missing. I can't begin to tell you what it is that you're missing.
Cam, you got any more to add, brother?
No, that's it, man. That's it. I'm pretty good, man.
I see in the comments that discussion is going on right now about what was more dangerous, drugs or welfare. I'm telling you, listen, the reason why I say this is because a long, long time ago, for people in the audience that don't know, I went to school for paralegal. And that was a question one of the lawyers asked us. What was more dangerous to inner city than drugs and welfare? And you'd be amazed at the answers that a group of paralegal students came up with. So that's why that question you'll get a various of different answers. But if we don't have no more questions from the audience, man, we can wrap this puppy up.
All right, you good.
No, it was a great show tonight. I just always happy to be on the platform. Thanks for the invite, Q. I need to.
Yeah.
Next time I come on though, I plan to have a Let's Talk hoodie. I can pay my own money, my own shipping and everything, but I got to come on with a Let's Talk hoodie next time.
Well, we working on things. This
All right.
coronavirus, like I said, this corona thing is it's affecting different areas at different times. Like New Jersey might get put on lockdown following New York, and then
Yeah, Northern New Jersey.
Pennsylvania might get put on lockdown 8 weeks after y'all done got off because we slow. We only got, as of right now, it's only like 2,500 cases in the whole state of Pennsylvania with coronavirus. But listen, for everybody in the chat, we appreciate y'all. We are glad that y'all spent some of y'all night with us. Once again, if you are on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. Tell people to join the conversation. Anybody want to come on the show and we can have a show about real topics, we'll be more than welcome to invite you to the show and you can come on. Thanks and have a blessed night.
Be good.
Later.
Cam, no hang up.